What's up YouTube? I'm Mike, and today, in celebration of the fact that I have decided to add Anadrol to my spring cycle a little bit early, I'm going to be doing a video on legal steroids. I had originally intended to wait a while and add the Anadrol after I added the Tren back into this spring bulk, but for reasons that maybe I'll get into in another video, I'm going to be adding it back in tomorrow at 50 milligrams a day. So I don't know how many of you know this, but Anadrol is actually a legal steroid in America. So in celebration of that fact, I'm going to do, in this video, we're going to be going into how you can cycle steroids legally in America. Again, this may come as a surprise to some of you, maybe none of you. If you've ever run into a really big cop on the street, or maybe a Marine who looks like he's a little bit saucy, there's a very good chance that one of those people has figured out this pathway. There are lots of police officers, first responders, soldiers who compete in big-time bodybuilding competitions, and not all of them are risking their freedom by doing so. Now, I suspect that, at a certain level, they're probably having to dabble into the underground a little bit, but believe it or not, you can, in fact, cycle steroids in this country legally. So first, I'm going to go down the list of legal hormones with the brand names and the generics, because not all of them are available by brand. And then we're going to go into how you might be able to go about getting a cycle of your own. So for starters, obviously the first and easiest compound to get a hold of is depo-testosterone. Depo-testosterone is the brand name for testosterone cypionate. It is what most all, not necessarily all, but most all TRT companies in America prescribe. You can either get the brand, which again is depo-testosterone, or you can get the generic compounded version, which is testosterone cypionate. In America, we do have a drug called deletestrol that is available, which is Test-E, or testosterone enanthate. I don't know how often any of these are prescribed. I just know that they exist. And then there's a third test option called Avid. I don't know, I've never heard of the brand, but it's testosterone undecanoate, or undecanoate. That is a very, very long acting ester. I believe it is the longest acting ester of any hormone you can get, the undecanoate ester. So that would be the legal injectable versions of Test. I think they've come out with some orals. I don't really know anything about them, and for reasons I won't get into in this video, I wouldn't recommend them. But those are the legal versions of testosterone that you can get prescribed to you. I have heard, and I don't know if this is true personally, that you can get up to 600 milligrams prescribed to you. The highest my TRT clinic will go is 200, so I cannot verify that one way or another. If there's somebody who happens to have a doctor prescribing it that high in America, please, in the comment section, verify that data. Some oral drugs, that would be 17 alpha alkylated orals that you can get in America. This one is very shocking to me. I have never taken this drug. I'm actually somewhat afraid of it, and that is halotestin. Halotestin is the brand name for fluoxymesterone. Everything that I've heard is that this is a very, very powerful hormone. I believe it's very short acting. I believe it's very common in strongman competitions, powerlifting. Second on the list is Testrid. This has many brand names. One of them, I believe, is Android, but that is the brand name for the hormone methyltestosterone. This is a methylated oral testosterone. Again, I also would probably steer clear of this. I suspect that it's relatively harsh on the liver. Third on the list of orals is oxandrin, better known as Anavar. Anavar is legal to prescribe in the United States. You can in fact get this, and obviously the generic version of this particular hormone is oxandrolone. Finally, on this list of guaranteed legal orals is Anadrol 50, or oxymethylone, which is the reason that I'm making this video, because I'm getting ready to start using oxymethylone or Anadrol 50 starting tomorrow morning. Also on this list, and there's a big question mark on these, I don't know whether, I cannot confirm that these are still available. Some of them may be for compound purposes only, like you may only be able to, Kat, what do you may only be able to get the hormone compounded and not in its brand name form, but I'm going to go down the list again. If anyone in the audience happens to be getting this prescribed, please in the comments let us all know so that we can, we'll know exactly what is still available. First on the list is Winstrol or stanozolol. Stanozolol is the generic name. This is obviously known as a cutting drug. Can make you look really, really diced. I have personally never used it because I have massive joint problems to begin with, and this compound is known to be very harsh on the joints. Number 2, and this is a big if, I don't know if this is still available, Drolban or Masteron, which is drostanolone propionate. Drolban is drostanolone propionate. This was at one time prescribed to women who had estrogen-positive breast cancers. Obviously, they have supposedly far better drugs for this purpose, and so I don't know if it's on the market any longer or if you can get it compounded at all. Next on the list is a big-time favorite, Decadurabolin, depending on how you say it, and obviously that is nandrolone decanoate. This says that it's not available, but I'm pretty sure one of the officers that I used to lift with said that he was getting it prescribed up to 600 milligrams a week. So again, if we have any law enforcement officers or anyone who is taking advantage of this particular legal pipeline, in the comment section below, help us all out. And finally on the list is Durabolin or nandrolone phenylpropionate. Those are the hormones that you should be able to get a hold of if you know the right people. Now, how do I know this? Because I used to work out with quite a number of law enforcement officers, and finally, after getting to know some of these guys and gals very well, I found out that there's a particular doctor here in Dallas that writes these scripts. I'm not going to name any names outside of that because I don't know the legalities of it. Obviously, I don't want to get anybody in trouble. I think that everyone is operating well within the confines of the law, but that is what you can do. I don't just know police officers who are doing this. I've talked to guys on this channel who've taken advantage of this pathway. I've talked to civilians who've taken advantage of this pathway. There are a lot of hormone replacement therapy clinics that go well outside the confines of hormone replacement. Obviously, any of these drugs, with the exception of Test C, Test E, or even Test U, are going to fall outside the realm of true hormone replacement therapy because obviously our bodies don't produce this naturally. A little known fact, and Derek from More Plates, More Dates made a video about this, nandrolone decanoate, well, not necessarily decanoate, nandrolone is often consumed by women. They don't know they're consuming it, but there are certain birth control pills. I used to know these off the top of my head. I don't now, but there are certain birth control pills that convert into nandrolone in the female body, and so women are effectively running a small nandrolone cycle when they take certain birth control pills. So again, I cannot tell you specifically how to do this other than that there are a lot of companies out there who provide it. From what I understand from talking to people on the street, it is really not that hush-hush. Some of these doctors even literally have websites that break down all of the drugs that they will prescribe you almost like in a menu format. And you just literally have a consultation with the doctor. You tell them what you want, and they will write those prescriptions within the limit of the law. There's obviously a window of how much they can prescribe, and I don't know if they say you have a condition or if they just dole out the meds. I have been rather shocked to hear what some people are getting a hold of. So if there are those of you in the audience who may be military, first responders of any kind, basically anybody who has a job that they don't want to lose because you get caught using some type of underground hormone, or you're just very safety conscious and you don't want to risk getting in trouble with any underground hormones, Or for example, you were like me and at one point you were embroiled in a very, very nasty custody battle with your ex-wife who seems hell-bent on just trying to destroy your life and you can't take any risks. Then there are avenues that you can explore to get things like Anavar, Anadrol, and maybe even Deca prescribed to you legally. I will warn you before you even seek this out. If you succeed in finding one of these doctors who write these scripts, please be prepared to pay through the fucking nose for these drugs. The guys that I have talked to are paying sometimes 10 times the street value for Anadrol or Anavar. Basically, every doctor that I have come across, whether they had a website or spoke to them on the phone, you can get the drugs, but you are definitely going to pay for it. So it becomes a question that you have to ask yourself. What is your freedom worth to you? What is the risk of losing a child in a nasty divorce? Or, what are the risks worth? And if you decide that going the underground route is not the risk that you are prepared to take, then these pathways are available to you. So there are enough drugs on this list that if you were trying to put on some decent mass to go to the beach, or just because you want to look better, just because you want to perform better, obviously a cycle of something like Test, Deca, maybe even Anadrol would be able to put a lot of muscle on your frame. If you were trying to cut and you wanted to do that legally, then obviously a cycle like Test and Anavar, maybe Drolban, Masteron, drostanolone propionate, Winstrol. These would be drugs that you could legally potentially get a hold of to help you cut up for some type of contest, or again, if you happen to be a lifestyle bodybuilder and you just want to look good, you want to be nice and diced for the beach, maybe you're going to Ibiza, however you say that word, and you just want to look good, then again, there are hormones on this list. If you were trying to compete in a local powerlifting show and you need to get a hold of Halo and Anavar, for example, Anadrol, whatever your cocktail may be, there are ways that you can go about doing that. Now, please, do not start contacting me on Instagram or in the comments section or however you managed to get hold of me and ask me for a doctor's name. I know one name, or I knew a name, I think it was Sheldon or something, local, I'm not even positive, but I do not have a relationship with these doctors. I had at one time used a doctor that prescribed me some legal Anavar and Anadrol, but I am not sharing that information. So don't even ask. You guys are all over the country, all over the world. Please do your own research. Rest assured, there are these doctors in every single city. I promise you, many of them probably practice telehealth, and you could get them shipped to you from Florida, for example. Seems to be a hot spot for anabolics these days. So basically, there you have it. Whatever you're trying to do within reason, there are in fact legal pathways to get these hormones. Unfortunately, if you've been following this channel for very long, you will notice that there is one name that I did not mention, and that unfortunately is Trenbolone. You cannot get a doctor to prescribe you Trenbolone, but you might be able to find Phenoplix, which is a tablet designed to inject into the ears of beefmaster cattle, for example. And there are a lot of people on the internet who have succeeded in buying these tablets and converting them into injectables. Now, I'm not going to tell you how to do that because I don't know, and because it's certainly illegal in America. And in this video, I am absolutely not suggesting that anyone break the law, and I'm not telling you how to break the law. I am telling you quite the opposite. There are pathways available to you to cycle anabolics legally, and if you choose to use them, you should definitely find a legal pathway, because none of us want to go to jail over trying to build boulder shoulders. So there you have it. hopefully that this information has been very, very informative. Again, please do not beat me up for any more information than this. Hopefully there's going to be a wealth of guys in the comment section who are going to tell you how you can do this because they are actually using these resources. I am not currently using one of these resources, so I can't help you even if I wanted to. If you choose to go the legal pathway, the illegal pathway, whatever you do, remember, these hormones are very, very powerful. They can make you very, very big, but also very, very angry. So don't do anything stupid. And as always, protect the cycle, and we'll see you on the next one.